Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me. So I know it's been a while since I posted, and I've sort of been thinking about what direction I want to um, take this channel, and what seems to be resonating most with people. And I sort of want to take that and expand on it as we move into sort of like the rebirth of the channel. Um, so I sort of wanted to just share something that I've sort of been learning through my journey that I feel compelled to share, and I'll make a few different videos about this. But so something that I've really been learning is about the darkness. So we can't fear the darkness because the darkness is fear. So when we feel afraid of something, that actually is a form of darkness. So what I'm trying to say is when we're afraid, the fear is the only thing that isn't real. Okay, so the darkness is sort of like fear because the darkness is just an illusion, but it's more than just an illusion because the fear is that the fear behind every fear we have is that I will never be whole again, I will never be the same again, and I will always suffer. So at its core, what this is a fear of losing pieces of the self. So sort of like what I would sort of do, it would sort of be seen as like losing pieces of our soul. So as we start to lose more and more pieces of our soul, we start to feel less and less whole, and we move farther and farther away from who we really are. But there's nothing actually inherently bad about that, because what that teaches us is that, first of all, there are some things that are just out of our control that we'll never be able to change, but what we can control is how we react to circumstance. So, in other words, when something bad happens, and if it's very traumatic, or even if it's not really traumatic, but it's just traumatic, a piece of our soul can sort of leave in that moment and go into like the timeline where it's most comfortable, so sort of where the situation happened. It'll still be in the same time in the fourth dimension as when it happened, so it's not with us in like the present. So that's why when people experience traumatic events, they say things like, oh, I felt like I was beside myself, or I've never been the same since. That kind of thing is referring to soul loss. So what the fear is that we're afraid of things because we don't want the soul loss to happen. It's like a self-preservation mechanism. And even if the soul doesn't voluntarily choose to leave, it can be stolen by abusive or otherwise dark people. So the reason that fear doesn't necessarily help is because we can't control things that happen. We can only control how we react and do the soul retrieval work and let go of limiting beliefs and the things that no longer resonate. And we can send back other pieces of other people's souls that have been either projected onto us, which is typically the case, or, since anyone can do this work, it can also be pieces that we've stolen, whether intentionally or unintentionally, from this life or past lives. So the fear is a fear that will never be the same, that will never be who we were, that will become corrupted. So the fear is the fear of becoming dark. And that doesn't have to be a fear, because we can always go back to who we were, and even more, we can go back to who we've sort of always been, in a way. Because in this universe that we live in, every soul is created as a light soul. It's a light universe. It's a loving universe. Not to say that that's the same in every universe, but in this universe, we all start off as light beings. We are all, firstly, we are light. That doesn't mean that's where we end up or where we go or where we're meant to be, but it does mean that that's where we start. Meaning that doing the soul retrieval work healing the limiting beliefs and letting go of any unhealthy attachments as far as anything attached to your energy field, or any kind of cording. When we move past these things and we do the work of retrieving our soul pieces, we sort of move into we're like phoenixes, like rising from the ashes. What they said can't be done can be done, right? So this is referring to on a soul level. You know, if a doctor says you're never going to walk again, I can't say that you will, but I can say that the piece of soul that you lost in that terrible car accident can come back, and you can still feel like you've released the trauma while retaining the soul piece. So to summarize, the fear is the fear of losing ourselves and being engulfed by the darkness. But once we realize that can never happen unless we allow it to, and that we can never be inherently destroyed or broken, then we can move into sort of the phoenix energy of becoming the soul that we always are and that we always will be. All right, I hope that made sense. You know, that's just how I see things. So leave any questions if you have them, or any comments below, and I will try to respond. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I'll try to continue posting more regularly now, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.